Hey guys, I welcome you in this wonderful video. So today we're going to be speaking about trend trading, more especially drawing trend lines. So here I've opened my chart. We can see that price is at the moment moving in an uptrend. So when it comes to a trending market, there are two possible entry methods. But I'm gonna focus on one method today. You can either enter through using a retest method where you take advantage of resistance and support, or you can either enter through trend lines where you just draw your trend line and follow that particular flow of the market. So let me just erase and let's get into it. So as you can see here, when it comes to trend trading, or when it comes to drawing trend lines, the most important thing that we have to look at first, it is to look at the waves, the size of the waves. For an example, you can see this wave, this next wave, and then the other wave. So you have to pay attention into the size of the wave. Why is that the case? So that you are not deceived by very small waves. For an example, if I can zoom in here and move that one. If you can see here, you can see that we had this move here going down, and then the market at this point started to go up, meaning it formed a low before this entire wave was complete. So other traders would be confused and think that from here, that's the beginning of the new impulsive move, meaning they think that the market is gonna go up, yet it wasn't the case. And again, if I'll make another example, here is another example. We see that the market starts to correct and then starts going up. Other traders will think that this is the beginning of the new impulsive wave, meaning they'll expect the market to continue to go up. Unfortunately, the market didn't do that. It proceeded in the corrective wave until it completed it here, and then it started going up. So what you have to know in a trending market is that a trending market that is healthy, the waves are going to be almost equal as the market proceeds. For an example, the corrective wave here, this corrective wave is going to be likely the same size as the next one, and also the next one, just like that. And they're going to be almost at the same size in a healthy trend, unless the trend changes its flow. We're going to get into that. So once you observe the size of your waves, what you have to pay attention into, it is not the past or the previous moves. Forget about all this trending move that was going back. Pay attention to the last three. In this case, we have here with this low, with the next low, and then we had the current one. So it's three lows. It's three lows that you have to pay attention into. Forget about looking at the past, because once you look at the past, you're going to be confused. Remember, the purpose of analyzing it is so that you get entries now. You don't have to pay attention much on the previous price. And then when it comes to drawing your trend line, I know we have a lot of trouble when it comes to, should you draw your trend lines in the weeks or in the closing bodies. So there is no one answer to that case. But what you have to do as a trader, let me just erase and drag my trend line here. So I'm gonna draw my trend line like so. Let me increase it a bit. So I'm gonna draw my trend line like that. Have you observed how I drew the trend line? I didn't pay attention if I placed it on a tail or I placed it on the close of the bodies. I just drew it where it is where it looks like an edge to me. In other cases, you can see here that it is piercing through the bodies. Here it is touching the close of the candles. Here it is touching the wicks or the tails. Even here it is touching the close of the candles. So there is no actual place where you should put a trend line, because the moment you put it here and let's say you drag it again all the way there, it will mean that when you make your decisions as a trader, you'll only be making decisions based on tails, meaning you'll fail to enter here, you'll fail to get this entry here, because your main focus, it is the tails of the candles, which is not the right thing. And even again, when you focus into the closes of the bodies, let's say you place it there in the close of that body, and maybe let's say you target even this close of the body here, it means that you're gonna miss this opportunity here, and it means that you're gonna miss that opportunity. Why? Because your main focus was the close of the body. So you don't have to pay attention into either of the two that I've explained. What you have to pay attention into, it is to pay attention into the area or the zone around this trend line. For an example, remember that when we draw support and resistance, we don't draw a straight line. We draw like a region like that, because we know that price can obey a straight line. But we know that through this zone, we are trying to tell ourselves that, okay, price is likely to reverse around this area, not in this area specifically, because you can see even here, it pierced through this region and it bounced below it. It doesn't mean that this region was disobeyed. However, this region told us that for the fact that price is around this area, it is likely to react, and it indeed reacted. Same thing applies with the trend line. The trend line is here to tell you, because that's why in other lessons you'll find people teaching you to draw trend lines like this as double or as multiple lines, so that you tell yourself that, okay, I'm not just obeying this single line, but I'm obeying the area, I'm obeying the zone around this area. I know that's where price is likely to reverse. I hope that is making sense. So when you're drawing a trend line, don't think that price is gonna obey your line. Price doesn't obey lines, but it can react to regions. I hope that is making sense. So I have another example that I want to share with you, another illustration. So we can see here, let me just erase my drawing. I don't know why I wanted to drag the price. We can see here we have a very interesting move here. It's gold, we have a very interesting move. So as we can see, let me just put my trend line. Now the market is moving down. You can, as a trader, you can either start your trend line there and drag it all the way down and push it down like this, and you can see other traders doing this, putting the trend line there like that. It still makes sense even when you put your trend line from there, because remember what I told you in the previous chart, that we are interested in the region, not in a specific line. So you are still covering that area, that okay, as long as I've drew my trend line is here to tell me that I should pay attention when price is approaching this area around my trend line. So I hope that is making sense now. And again, what you have to pay attention into as a trader is that you have to make sure that you observe the trend as it is proceeding, because trends usually they shift as the market goes down. For an example, we can see here that the market is started a little bit weak here. You can see the first impulsive, it was a little bit small, and then a corrective, and then the next impulsive a little bit bigger, and then the corrective is getting smaller. So meaning, looking at this downtrend, which is at its early stage, you can see that the sellers, they are becoming stronger. Why? Because their impulsive wave, they become bigger and bigger. We have a small impulsive wave, and then we have a bigger impulsive wave, meaning we are expecting even a more bigger impulsive wave in the near future. And as we expect a more bigger impulsive wave in the near future, what's going to happen in the trend or in our trend line? The price is going to escape from the trend line. The price is going to run away from the trend line, meaning if price starts like this, let me just draw it like this, it's going to start doing like this. Meaning if you have your trend line all the way there, it means that now the price is going to shift and move in a more aggressive way, because the market becomes stronger and stronger. So you should also be open to that fact that as the market proceeds in strength, as you can see right now, that I am able to identify that the market is like to increase in strength before even this trend line shift happens. Because you have to make sure that you are ready when this happens, so that you know that when you receive a high, you don't wait for your price to go touch there, because it will never reach that area. So you have to make sure that you are ready whenever that shift in strength come. You make sure that you don't miss any end. So when the trend is still in formation, observe and analyze everything that is happening. Even in the correctives, you can see that this corrective wave was bigger, the side of the bars, meaning okay, the bars were a little bit stronger. And then now we have a weaker corrective, meaning the bars, they are now weaker. So as the price goes down, the buyer has become weaker and weaker and weaker. And as we analyze through the impulsive wave, that okay, the sellers, they're becoming, they start from a weak impulsive into a strong impulsive, and we're expecting even a more stronger. So it means that the sellers, they're becoming stronger and stronger, and the buyers, they're becoming weaker and weaker, meaning it's like that the trend is gonna shift into a more aggressive trend. So be ready for that as well when you are analyzing or when you are making your decisions as a trader. So I think I have to leave it there. I thought maybe I was gonna find something here to just make an illustration. Okay, let me use this portion here. So as you can see here, what I just spoke about in the previous chart. However, this, it happened on the opposite side. Let us just observe. You can see here, maybe a trader can start to draw his trend line like that, and then the trend line becomes broken. We'll receive a new low. So when a trend line becomes broken, I know a lot of traders will then start to look for reversal opportunities, but you don't look for reversal opportunities unless the price give you a low which is lower than the previous one. In this case, we didn't receive it. So if something like this happens, meaning if we don't receive that low which is lower than the previous one, then you need to readjust your analysis and again wait for the price to give you another low, and then start again to analyze with your trends as the price proceed. And one thing that you need to note as a trader is that when you trade in a trend, it doesn't mean that you have to rely only on your trend lines. You also have to use your logic, you also have to use your mindset and try to formulate other methods that will enhance your trend trading. Because if you're gonna rely only on trends, it means that you're not gonna be getting more frequent entry opportunities, but you also have to add another method into it. That's why I've made a video about support and resistance as well, so that you can add into your trading method. So I've placed a link on the top corner, you can check it out. So let me just leave it here. Thank you for watching.